What's going on? As you can see, we finally have GoPro mounts and we're now on the road and can make videos like this. So today, what I'm going to go through is basically my kind of review on the last 16 months that I've owned this car. I've had it for about, I got it in, tyre pressure warning, sorry. I just had the tyre changed. Anyway, I got this car in August 2019. It's now Feb 2021. And there's a number of reasons I still have it, because I've never kept a car more than 12 months, more than 10 months even, and I've had this one for far longer and I don't see myself selling it anytime soon. I'm going to go through some pretty frequently asked questions that I get asked in relation to this car. The first one I get, which as you know I mentioned in the last video, is something I'm changing now. Has the Mark 7 aged compared to its competition? And the truth is, compared to the 7.5, it has aged. When I first got it, everyone had the 7.5 lights. The Audi facelift ones, they look very similar. So I made the decision to keep them as they are, because I think there's just so many Mark 7.5s around at the time and I just wanted to keep it a bit different. So I kept them as they were. Same for the interior as well, to be honest. I mean, the interior upgrade was quite expensive. But truthfully speaking now, the car needs a lift. The rear lights are starting to look very dated, because obviously they have the sort of like glitter kind of lights. They're not the sharp LED ones like facelifts. So the rear lights really need doing. Interior wise as well, I've started to feel the same. All my mates pretty much have 7.5s, and the interior, although I didn't really like the virtual cockpit at the start because I prefer Audis, I've really started to feel it now that it's quite dated in it, and that's what made me make the move to do the screens, which are going to get done probably next week. One part that I wouldn't say has aged and I'm not changing is the front end. The front end is evil. So much more menacing than the 7.5. The 7.5's got them kind of rounded kind of U-shaped lights, where this is the 7's got them aggressive W lights, and then obviously I've coded the hazards to stay on permanently, and that's going to stay as it is. I've changed the splitter now as well. I'll show you today. Throw it in here. There's a new splitter on the car. It's the splitter I ran in summer for like 3 days, and it's just the front end, I wouldn't change it. It's perfect now. So that's the only part of the car I'd say hasn't aged. In terms of everything else, I mean, the only difference on the 0.5s is the screens, the front and rear lights. Everything else is practically the same. So my answer for that is yes, the Mark 7 has aged compared to the 7.5. The next question I get asked a lot is, for the money, which is in the region of 15 to 20 grand depending on what spec you go for, is there a better car you can buy, a better hot hatch you can buy for this kind of money than the Golf R? And my answer is no. Absolutely not. The Golf R is the full package. No one believes me until they sit in one, they drive one, or they sit in mine even. I have so many people that they're so convinced they're going to buy an S3, they're so adamant they're going to buy an S3, and then they sit in here and they change their mind. And I've even had people who've sat in here and end up buying Golf Rs because of it. There's just no I'm sorry, but there's no competition with the Golf R. It is the absolute best all-rounder. That's why there's so many of them. You literally have to ask yourself, why has everyone got one? There's a reason. For 20 grand, even if you get like a high mileage dead spec one, for 14, 15 grand, there is not a better car on the roads than the Golf R. It's got the performance, it's got the practicality, it's got the noise, it's not too expensive to buy. They're only expensive to shore because they're highly stolen and so many people flipping crash them. That's the reason they're expensive to shore. Truthfully, brings me on to my next question, which is, it's better than its main competition, which is the S3. It is the better car. Everyone asks why when they're essentially the same car, and obviously the Audi's the more expensive one, so you'd expect it to be better. But the truth is, it's not. And it's something that I've been trying to get you an answer to for a while, and what it boils down to is the way the Golf R is built is a bit different to the S3 in terms of how it drives. It's more aggressive in the corner, it's more twitchy, it's more you feel more connected to the car than you do with the S3. So something about the R And the way, especially when it's mapped, when it kicks, the way it kicks you back, the S3 don't do it. The Golf R's got this certain kind of aggression to it that the S3 doesn't have, and I can't explain it because I didn't make the car, but you get a different feeling. It's two different feelings being in a Golf R and being in an S3. Something Volkswagen put in the Golf R that they didn't put in the S3. I mean, look, when you put your foot down, it just goes. There's something this car's got that the S3 don't. I'm sorry. Yeah, can't explain it. Car gives you don't get in many other cars, to be honest. I don't even get it in the 63, probably because most of the time I'm worried about killing myself in the C63. This car gives a different feeling to the other cars, and that's fact. It's not fiction. Is a performance map and performance mods essential on this car? And my answer again is yes, 100%. You need to map this car, and then you need the sporting mods for whatever you do, whether it's a stage 1, 2, 3. You need to have all the sporting mods for it. And the reason is, as good as this car is, how much I just backed this car and what I just said, this car is very restricted from factory. Very, very restricted. I drove yours the other day, drove Harris's the other day, who's a stock Mark 7, and you can feel it wants to go. It wants to go. It's stock. And you can feel it wants to go, but there's something holding it back. And then once you do just a simple stage 1, it's literally as small as a stage 1, you don't have to go 2 or 3. It just opens the car up. Obviously you gain about 70 to 80 brake, depending on who maps it. You gain about 100 torque. You can remove the speed limiter, the rev limiter, and it just changed stage 1 for what? From as low as like £500 for a decent amount, £500-600. A DSG you might go up to 700-800, lowest price. It changes the car completely. Honestly, I drove Harris and it sets off like mine, and then you just feel the restriction in the power. And I know once he maps it, he'll know what I'm talking about. Or if he even drives this, he'll know what I'm talking about. So it's absolutely essential that you map this car. Just to open it up, it needs to be opened up. Next question. As I touched on before, I don't really keep a car for more than 12 months. About 2 times I have come to the point where I've said I'm going to sell this. So why have I struggled to let this car go? The simple fact of the matter is, it's too good. I can't see a reason to let this car go. I use it as my daily, essentially, just running around, doing errands and stuff. And maintenance, reliability wise, bar now, the time has come to change the water pump. Well, I've had the car for 15 months, and besides standard stuff like tyres, never once has this car given me an issue. Never once has it broken down on me and caused me headache. Because that is one thing I hate doing. I hate breaking down and having to call out recovery and all that. It pisses me off. It probably pisses anyone off. I did expect this car to give me more headache than it has when I bought it, being a performance car, and it hasn't. It's held its own. It's so reliable. If anything, since I bought the 63, I've been a bit lazy with it, and I've neglected it a bit. And only this month it's getting all the maintenance it needs. It's just had a major service. Truthfully, my answer is, when you need the power, you've got it. When you need boot space, you've got it. When you need 5 people in the car, you've got it. When you want noise, you've got it. And if you want a good looking car that looks good in any weather, even when it's dirty, as it is today, as you can see, this car is the all-rounder, and it's the simple reason why I won't sell it. I don't think I'll sell it. If I'm always in a financial position to be able to keep it, I don't think I will sell it, because there is no need to sell it. Next question is, what made me choose the Golf R over the S3 and the M140, which were my other 2 options? And do I regret my decision? At the time when I was looking at this exact car, Shazan at ACG Motors, he had a grey 140 with red leather, had a Remus exhaust on it. It was kitted out, had a lot on it, and it was cheaper than this as well. I think it was about 18 grand, 19 grand. So that was probably the more obvious choice. And then I think Shaq's had an S3. It was a red one. I've never had a red car, but Shaq's had a facelift S3 up for 24 grand, which is 4 grand more than I paid for this. But it was a facelift, because I always said if I was going to get an S3, it'd have to be a facelift. I wouldn't get a pre-facelift. What edged me really was, I drove this. I took it for a test drive, this exact car. I'd driven the 140 and I'd driven the S3, and I don't know, something felt a bit different in this. It felt that it's literally what we've been touching on the whole video. It felt more aggressive than the S3. The S3 felt a bit meh. And over the 140, to be honest, it was probably, I was a bit worried about the fuel because I've never had a 3 litre car. And I was like, alright, 3 litre might be a bit too far, considering I daily it. And then the insurance aspect of it as well. The insurance was like 15 quid more on the M140. Do I regret my decision? No. You already knew the answer to that. I don't regret my decision at all. This car is everything I could ever want. It's the reason I want to sell it. This. In the wet now, we're in the soaking wet. Nothing to worry about. Ridiculous. It's the best car. For 20 grand, you can't beat it. I'm sorry. It's got, with the D-car and the res delete, can't beat it. Look. It's ridiculous. I think final topic. Sorry. Comorans, told you. Eats the roads. Comorans, you need them. What's my plans with the car? So, I've had the major service, I've had APR coil packs put in, had the NGKs put in, ram air intakes on the way. Start that roof's in, if you can see it, should be able to. Put that in last week. We're going to change the wheels, we've put a new splitter on. Map wise, it's going to get dynoed. I'm going to see what it's running once it's dynoed. Just need to get the last few bits on before I dyno it. My plans after that, I want to see how it performs in the dyno. If it's achieving around average numbers, which is around at 370-ish, I may go for another map on it. I may map it again, and if I do, I'll go stage 2 or even 3. I've got a little plan with the rear end. The lights are getting changed, but there's something going on with the diffuser that I'm trying to figure out if it's possible or not with quad tips. If it is, I'm going to have a diffuser on this car that no other Golf has and the whole world's got. I've got the 7.5 lift coming inside. That's going to be a big change for me. Just to be extra, I don't know why, but I'm looking at the 7.5 seats, leather ones, with the perfect leather in them. I'm just being extra at this point. There's a new number plate for it as well. My name's coming off it for a bit. It's a new plate. Ties in with the brand nicely. In terms of how I enjoy it daily, like, I'll be honest, I spend the days when driving it, I'll probably just cruise around like I am now. It's at night when I become a little speed demon. Untouchable! They're untouchable! I'm showing you some graphic proof now of what these tyres can do. Too sick. Too sick. Every Sunday is free smoke day, I'm telling you. I think call it a wrap there, to be honest. I'm starting to figure out my videos are mainly talking, but I'm informative. I'm trying to be as realistic as I can with every video. But yeah, I hope the GoPro's a bit of a better setup now for these videos. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe and share. Comment some video suggestions of what you want to see. I'll try and get them out. I'm just right now I'm just doing what I can. I didn't have the Merc today because it's my neighbour actually reversing off his drive. He scraped my front bumper, so he's gone in for a respray, the front bumper. I don't have that today. That's why we're in the Golf. Even the Golf, I didn't really want to drive it today because of the water pump situation, but it's okay at the moment. I've topped it up with the coolant and it's all good. But yeah, like I said, please like, subscribe and share. Take care. Peace out.